Perfect gift for the orthodox black metal fan. On your list, Ravishing Lumber.
Maybe there's AstroTurf ones as well for those, that
Better still,
are allergic to grass.
do you think those tribes have grass skirt envy? Do you think they're going, wow, that's gorgeous? Are you using Scott's Turf Builder? Or is it maybe Pennington One Step? They have interplanetary coffees imported from Saturn, the rings of Jupiter. The album ends with them telling you they had your mom in an orgy while Surfing Bird was playing. I'll tell you what, I am done with gas station liposuction. That's it.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
We're off.
So
Another madcap journey. Our final.
we talked about this a little bit on our Instagram page.
Yeah.
But Tuesday, we went to see another great show at Baltimore Soundstage.
Yes.
So it was one of those concerts where each act,
band blew up the other. Yep.
We didn't see much of we got there a little late.
Who was the first band? Ingrown.
Yeah, we didn't see a whole lot of Ingrown.
I didn't see a lot of Ingrown.
I think we heard like 2.5 songs, and they seemed good. And then
we saw Blood Incantation for like the 300th time. Yeah, but they're always good. Always
solid.
Great. Yeah,
good. Immolation took it a step up from there. And just when you saw it, who's gonna top that?
I didn't think anybody could top Immolation, but
I didn't think so either. But
Obituary did.
Obituary definitely did.
Wow, one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
So if this wonderful tour is coming anywhere near you, I noticed
you gotta do it.
I was a little worried about Baltimore. Yeah. We don't always show up, but it wasn't sold out, but we definitely showed up.
You forget how many awesome songs Obituary has too.
Oh my God.
As you start to get into the second half hour, you're like, that's them too. This fucking band rules. So yeah, Obituary still reigns supreme years and years later, decades later.
But I was the only one that had Obituary heels. I got
you had Obituary
heels. No, yeah, and no one else does that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put it out there. I see that the writers are on strike in Hollywood that write for like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and all, and so we'd be happy to sell you the remnants from this year that we don't use, but our rates are high. So, and besides, it probably wouldn't work because people would be like, "Wait a minute, Jimmy Fallon's actually funny this week. Something happened." Yeah. So anyway, it's there if you need us. Come at us in the comments. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our wrap up for the season.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Stace has kind of put together a retrospective on the bands that we've covered, which we're going to go through now. But also, I did a kind of greatest hits of season 2. I uploaded it onto YouTube. It's kind of long. It's about 10 minutes. It's what I think is some of our funnier stuff. It's our trailer on YouTube. So head over to our YouTube channel and check it out. You get all misty-eyed remembering all the fun that we had in season 2.
We sure had a lot of it. And, someone asked me at work the other day, I was talking about a band we were featuring, and he said, "Are they any good?" And I just turned around and said, "We don't do any band that we don't love. We just don't."
This guy's not worth talking about.
You have to fit the screening process. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my drawer full of notes here because, I have notes and interviews.
We'll add them to the museum behind us.
Either that or we could, have another fire pit night.
Yeah. There you go.
Offer them up to the dark lord.
I had one last night. Yeah.
We had unfortunately, our rosemary bush after 5 years perished. So
it became firewood last night.
It was a funeral pyre of rosemary.
Yeah, it smelled wonderful as it burned. So it's like the Wicker Man. Anyway, all right. So Stace is going to run through kind of a state of the union on the bands that we featured in season 2.
And like I said, we only do bands that we like. And once you are part of the Snaggletooth family, you are always part of the Snaggletooth family. We will always promote you. We will always follow you. We may even interview you again. A lot of people ask for second interviews. We haven't done any yet, though.
No, no.
All right. So looking back on episode 1, which seems forever ago, we interviewed the incomparable Gene Hoagland.
Yeah.
Gene is currently busy with his many side projects. Well, I can't even call them side projects. Dark Angel is planning to perform Darkness Descends in its entirety
Wow.
in memory of Jim Durkins. This is going to happen in San Francisco.
I didn't know Jim Durkin had passed away.
Yeah.
Oh my, it must have been recent.
It
Yeah.
was.
Oh.
And Death Clock is touring August through October in the US. 7 dates are already sold out. So
I would love to see that.
And
The death metal orchestra.
oh my God. And Testament and Death Angel recently played the Metal Fest in Santiago, Chile, just this past April. So busy. He's always a busy man. Moving on, episode 2 was Mercenary, where we talk with Jacob. So they've been busy working on a new video for their upcoming album. I liked it when they were posting about the video. They also had a shot of pills, and it said that these were their pain pills because they were old after they shot the video. But
You should
still
try
working.
Hum Nutrition. Oh, sorry.
They are still waiting on the album, which should be out soon. They were posting about the last mix was coming up, so hopefully we will see that soon. I'm looking forward to it. They're still selling a lot of Dark and Souls craft beer and gin. And so looking forward to that Mercenary album. Been waiting a long time. I'm sure it's like everything else backed up. So
Yep.
It'll be out. So episode 3 and 4. This was our only double header for Decay. We had more than one for rock and roll, but this was Alan Averill, and he continues with his podcast Agitators Anonymous, which is generally a lot of grumpy rants, but he has some points at times.
Old man shouts at clouds.
So recently he's reviewed the new Metallica, analyzed the music industry, festival cost, energy cost, venues taking a cut from band merch.
He did a fascinating episode on post and packaging of records. It was a real barn burner, Alan. Wow.
So Primordial just finished album number 10. We're just waiting on a release date, and also Primordial will be in our hometown next year at the Maryland Death Festival in 2024. So I look forward to seeing them. In addition, Alan is also a busy man. He has a new project of Venomous.
I think it's Verminous Serpent.
Verminous, I'm sorry.
Verminous Serpent.
Verminous. You just expect to have a venomous serpent, but they're Verminous Serpent. This is with Matt Bree and Joseph Deegan. Their album is The Malign Covenant. There are epic songs to be had here. The final track, Death's Head Mantra, clocks in it as an impressive 13 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of a doomy take on war metal, like Sarcophago and Bestial Warlust and that sort of thing. So definitely check that out.
It just occurred to me, even our episode with him was epic. He was the only one that spanned 2 episodes.
Yeah, the man takes his time. Yeah.
Then we came down to episode 5. I feel like we're hitting our stride here for some reason with Exhumed, Matt Harvey. They have been touring. In June, they will kick off the Better to Reign in Hell tour with Venom Incorporated, Acid Witch, and Enforced. So that's also a little. Well, I'll get to that later.
The new Acid Witch album's great too. Yeah.
So they also have a big tour, and I noticed on the last 4 dates, I think because it overlapped with another tour that they're involved in, Worm Witch will be subbing in for them, which is another Snaggle alumni from season 1. So I thought that was kind of a odd cross-pollination I always like to find. After that, they're going to kick off a Morbid Devastation tour with Cavalera, Conspiracy, and Insight.
Cavalera Conspiracy, yeah, it's Max and Igor from Sepultura.
I always say that wrong. And as of note, they will be at the Baltimore Soundstage 9/25 if anyone wants to get a birthday present for me.
Come on.
And he also put up a really interesting blog. I believe it is up on, it might be his personal Instagram page, but I think there's a link from the show page. And he did Exhumed Winter 2022, a testing of gore metal. And there are pictures, videos, witty commentary from Matt. If you like riffs, illnesses, and or Chinese food pizza, this is the blog for you. So he always is so entertaining. Episode 6 was Go Tour with Sammy Duet of they continue also to tour the US, touring. I'm so glad everybody's out there. So recently they played with I Hate God and various supporting bands. They will be back. They're taking a short break and then they're jumping right back out on tour May 21st, all the way through June. They'll be and this tour that includes the Hell in the Harbor Fest that we will be at here in Baltimore. So we're looking really forward to seeing those guys. Episode 7 was Inhuman Condition with Taylor Norberg and Jeremy King. So Jeremy will actually be on the road with the Venom Incorporated tour that we talked about previously with Exhumed. So more Snaggle alum getting together. I love it. So they continue with their diverse run of innovative merch. I have never seen such innovative merch as Inhuman Condition. And they always do a great job promoting it. They announced in April a collaboration to bring us Inhuman Condition coffee. Also, they have great packages available on their Bandcamp. They even have signed test pressings, used drum heads. These were from the Recycled Hate video. Pick sunglasses. And there is a great Jeremy does on YouTube. It's a drum playthrough of Hallucian. It's really, you can just see, wow. It'll take your breath. Meanwhile, Taylor Nordberg is busy touring Latin America with Deicide. So
He's going to be on the new Deicide album when it comes out, right?
so that should be out. They just announced it was finished, so
Cool.
should be
Yep.
soon. Episode 8 was the Accused AD/Toe Tag with Blaine Cook. Blaine continues his cocktail quest. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel at the Wicker Bar, he makes up cocktails just about every week, as well as he sometimes has some footage from their live shows, and he's even branched out in the cooking demonstrations. And he continues his local thrash shows in Tacoma with both bands. The Accused AD also recently announced a November tour in Japan.
I turned on one of his videos the other day, a new one. He's by the lake making cocktails, like on a tree stump or something. I was like, what are you doing? Okay.
Must have taken quite a bit of setup.
We would never be able to pull that off.
No.
Be like, where's the tequila? I thought you were getting it.
Did anyone get ice?
Yeah, exactly. No, we couldn't pull that off. So hats off to Blaine.
Episode 9, Dawn of Ashes. Christoph Bathory of Dawn of Ashes. He is almost finished with a new album, and it will be entitled Reopening the Scars. Also, his ambient product voice, Stace, just released a new album, Viral Incubation. So they have a crazy show that's coming up in Los Angeles, May 27th. For $85, you can get, of course, a ticket to the concert, a meet and greet with Dawn and Ashes, a hoodie, a concert poster, a album, and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
What a deal. They're still performing all the old Agrotech material all the way through to the new material. And they'll be playing the McCaminus Festival in Seattle in June. And then they also have a South American tour planned for October. So another super busy guy.
Yep.
Episode 10. Escula Grind, Katarina Ekonomou. They are currently on the spring-summer Schoolhouse Grind. And yes, they actually have their posters look like Schoolhouse Rock. I love it. So more cross-pollination if you go all the way back to season 1 with us.
Yes.
So we will see them May 27th at the Hell in the Harbor Festival. So looking forward to checking them out once again. Episode 11 was Black Braid, John Krieger. The Decibel Magazine tour will kick off in Santa Ana, California, May 11th. He will be playing with Dark Funeral, 200 Stab Wounds, and Cattle Decapitation. They are coming by, but unfortunately we couldn't make all the shows, but we try to get out there as much as we can. Also, he has a new single for his upcoming sophomore album. His new single is called Moss Covered Bones on the Altar of the Moon. This man cannot have short song titles.
Yeah, he kind of, he's from the Inquisition school of song titles, you know.
Episode 12 was Zentrix. We went to see Christian. Well, we didn't go to see him. We talked with Christian Harvard. They recently completed shows in Dublin, which Alan actually had commented on.
He said it's mainly old dudes like my age there. I guess they want to hear Ghostbusters again.
Yeah.
So everybody knows about the Ghostbusters thing.
They also recently headlined in the UK Trasher Motion on the Roof Volume 4 in Derby. And they plan on playing the Stormcrusher Fest in Germany with 18 other artists, including The Crown, Bullet, and Exclasia. So lots of good things on the horizon for them. Episode 13, De Profundis with Soy Sengupta.
This was when everybody we were interviewing was English.
They just played at the Transcending Obscurity Festival May 5th and 6th. They also are included in the Incineration Festival in London. There is a great video of Soy on social media showing off his guitar skills as he was rehearsing. He just decided to film it. It's really quite impressive. Also impressive is the fact that he posts his runs, which he usually runs under 6-minute miles. I'm so jealous.
Another news, some of my exes got together and formed a band. It's called they're calling the tour the Transcending Obesity Tour. Yeah. Bunch of fat ladies. Anyway.
All right. So coming around the bend, episode 14 was See You Next Tuesday with Drew Slavic and Chris Fox, or sometimes we discovered he's just Fox.
Just Fox.
See You Next Tuesday has planned shows in May for Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. Drew features his extreme tapping in the Why Can't You Behave playthrough on YouTube. Check it out. Episode 15 was Kong with Mark Drillich and Tej Keverkamp. They just dropped a new video for Radiance, and that's off of Traders of Truth, which is their new album. And they have a clip of behind-the-scene footage as they recorded it. You will see, obviously, it's not everything is a one-taker. They continue getting rave write-ups about their album. No word if they've looked into my suggestion of adding pyrotechnics to the show and going all Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That's a good suggestion.
Episode 16 was Night Goat with Julia Bentley. Night Goat will be taking it on an East Coast Midwest summer tour, summer tour of the dead. Of the deed. July 13th through 29th. They also premiered a new video for Sister Wolf. These really mesmerizing colors and images and shots of Julia running amok and doing her witchy thing.
Yes.
That brings us all the way up to 17, which was Necropanther with Paula Nupp, Joe Johnson, Mark Corrich. Necropanther was recently voted Best Metal Album by Denver West World. Say that 4 times fast. Their next show will be supporting Goat Hill Massacre at their CD release party with Disengaged and Oros. They had a contest recently about naming their new touring van. The winning name? The Necropanther.
Change one letter. Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty.
Not going on.
Yeah,
Good
long
Good job.
season. But like I said, we always continue to follow everyone who's been on our show.
Sure.
And we didn't have any breakups in Decay. We had breakups in rock and roll.
Yeah. You have to watch the other show to hear about that. So, all right, good job. So I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I was traveling. We talked about when I used to travel a lot. I was up in PA or Jersey. It must have been PA because in Jersey they're full service. I had started gassing up. I had the pump in the tank, and I got on the cell phone with my ex, and she aggravated me so much, got me so pissed that I drove off with the thing in my tank. I ripped the hose right off the wall. Now, I know, very Tommy boy, right? But they know this could happen. So there's clips. So gas wasn't shooting out everywhere. It just flops. So apparently I'm not the first person to do this, right? But I tell you, it's a strange feeling when you just carry that carcass of that hose up to the man with the turban and say, I'm sorry, dude. That was that wasn't my proudest moment, at all. And while we're on the subject, in America, if you want to make something sound really shitty, you put the word gas station in front of it. Like, try some of my gas station coffee. I got a gas station sandwich. Does anybody want some? I had to pull over and use the gas station restroom. Yeah, not cool. I'll tell you what, I am done with gas station liposuction. That's it. I'm going to a real therapist now. So, I guess gas station gas is okay. But,
yeah, there's not a whole lot other places you can get gas.
Have you seen the one gas station up the road that they have a crypto ATM?
Really?
Yeah, they
Why?
buy cryptocurrency. I don't know. Does it give out like imaginary money or something? I don't know. It looks like an actual ATM, but it's got crypto symbols all over it.
Just make random investments. I'd like gas, some chiclets, pack of Marlboros, and I'd like to invest in crypto, which you may or may not.
Invest. Yeah, who does that? So,
By the way, if there wasn't an earthquake a few moments ago, that was our cat who apparently has decided he's into podcasting. He
Yeah,
knocked the whole monitor.
You'll see him in the interview later. He makes a prominent entrance. So anyway, speaking of like gas and auto related, growing up, my best friend in high school was a auto mechanic. It was a very good one. And it was great to get free car repair, but there were downsides because he was so good. He never took the hat off. And it was never good news when he had information about my vehicles. So, like, for example, I had this 8-cylinder Dodge truck. I hated it. It had nothing but problems. I always had to keep going to him to get stuff fixed. I got rid of it and I got a sensible, practical, economical Nissan Sentra. Like, I am that guy. This is why I'm not into muscle cars, right? I drove it everywhere. Took it to the beach. We took it on vacations. We took it across the country. Commuted the hell out of it. New York City. I loved that all I had to do was pay for tires and gas. That's the kind of car I've had ever since. Anyway, so then one day I take it to my friend to get the tires rotated and oil. He puts it up on the lift. He looks up and he says, the entire body's rusted out. If this car gets hit from behind, it will crumble like tinfoil. I was devastated because it had 200,000 miles on it, but I wanted to get like 250 out of it. But I had to get rid of it. You know, I had kids and stuff. So I started not consulting him every time I had an automotive purchase because I didn't want him to be Debbie Downer, right? And I remember one time he would give me shit though. Like I pulled up in my wife's new van, and he goes, "Is that yours?" And I said, "Yeah, she just got a Kia Sedona." And he's like, "Dude, you're gonna have problems. Kias are junk. You'll see." It's just like hit in the gut. Oh, thanks. And he was always right, the fucker. That's the thing. I hated that. So we had it for about 3 years. Around the time that the warranty started to wear off, all the handles and mirrors just started breaking off in our hand. I'm going to roll the window down. I'm holding the handle. We had a pile of mirrors and handles in the back of the car. It was like they put a nice engine in. They made the body look good, and then they ran out of money, so everything just breaks off. So he was right. I'm like, thanks for ruining that for me. You know, I got a nice Nissan sedan. I buy used cars from a car rental company. Actually, I find that I get a low mileage, roomy, good on gas for a low price, right? And he did the tires on it for me recently, and I had no idea this. He goes, "Wow, I didn't realize how hard your car had been hit."
What?
I guess there was some kind of frame damage or something that he noticed.
You didn't do a Carfax?
I don't think so. No. But anyway, so that's what I get. Gee, thanks. Anyway, what about when he took a look at your roller skate? Remember that?
Yeah, he was doing some work on the Fiat, which
Well, first of all, there is a flaw with the Fiat window related.
yeah, apparently because you know how they have automatic windows these days. I don't even know why people don't just do this when they want you to roll down your window. People still do this.
Yeah.
Which actually I had in Saturn. But anyway, I digress. With the Fiat, the window, just one day I pressed the button and it went and it wouldn't come back
It
up.
fell in the well.
And then
And he fixed that.
he fixed that one, and then the other one broke. And I thought, well, that's fine. I'll just drive home from work and we'll, deal with it later. And the rainstorm from hell happened.
One of the worst rainstorms of the year.
It was those thunderstorms that just blow up where there's suddenly sideways rain and wind.
She's driving with no window, driver's side.
And I got home and we didn't want the car to be all wet and moldy. So Mark ran out with the tarp and just laid over the window opening.
Yeah.
And the wind was just whipping and rain was going into his mouth and his
getting
nose.
pelted. I was riding the storm out, but it was okay. But we ended up saving the car and we traded in and we got a pretty good deal on it. So that worked out well, unlike your art college friend.
God, my ex-husband's sister had this small white hatchback and she went to MICA, which is the Maryland Institute College of Art.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to do some project on this car. I kid you not. It was a complete ocean scene painted on this car with fish, seaweed, turtles and like random Happy Meal toys glued to this car.
Oh my God.
Okay. So she decided, for whatever reason, she was going to try to sell it. But I was a stay-at-home mom then, so 9 times out of 10, if somebody wanted to look at it, she was in school and the person would show up and she would never clue them in to the very custom paint job
Like that
she
they were
had given it.
Beanie Babies glued all over the car, whatever. Yeah.
And we had it like on a parking pad in the back of the house, so I'd walk into the house and you could just see the abject horror
They're
creeping
mad at you.
onto their face.
Right. Thinking it was your fault. Right.
Because, they catch a glimpse of this thing
Yeah.
with the toys.
And once you start gluing toys to your car, I think the resale value is going to be severely impacted. Yeah.
Puss and fish, and it was ridiculous. And they would turn around and look at me like I was nuts. I'm like, I'm just showing it.
Right.
Somebody did eventually buy it after, 20 people came and ran from the house screaming.
Okay. Want to talk about our feature interview this week?
Our feature interview this week is with Peter Lyse Hansen, better known as Pepe, of the Danish thrash band Hatesphere. Their latest album, Hatred Reborn, which we featured a few weeks back, is packed with bangers. So we talked with Pepe about how Hatesphere has remained so consistent despite having 4 different singers and a host of other lineup changes. We touch on the band's origins, how they chose cover songs, and a host of other topics.
What classic band does he wish Hatesphere had toured with more than any other? The answer may surprise you, so stay tuned for that. Look at those dreadlocks, my God. Whipping. So let's play a song from Hatesphere. We're going back to the album that I discovered them. This is the title track from The Sickness Within. Okay. Let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcasts. This week, I am going to upload a very special feature about the Minnesota, Wisconsin metal scene in the early 90s. All of the bands were better than the grunge bands. So look forward to that. I know we teased Stacy's Satan Scalapini, but alas, we had some technical issues.
Yeah, the camera lady didn't check the angle, and
The cameraman should have helped out.
You probably could only see me from here.
It was a mouth.
So,
It was delicious, though.
We'll redo it. I can make it again.
It was delicious. But we'll have to upload another full body recipe. Yeah, so
Or at least full face.
full face, yeah. Another devilish recipe is coming your way. So stay tuned for that. We really need your help. We've got a whole season under our belts now. Well, actually 2 whole seasons under our belt now. We're getting ready to start season 3. I think you guys are really going to be pleased with some of the things that we've expanded / increased for season 3. We got some really cool ideas. I'm very excited about season 3's artwork. I think it turned out really well. It's a new artist called KC Angel, very cool guy, and we're pleased to make his acquaintance through Blaine Cook. Yeah, so we could definitely use your help. Subscribe to our channel, come say hi on one of our socials, and get signed up for Patreon. $6.66 a month gets you tons of bonus content that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, come over to our Instagram pages as well. We do post a lot, including we have live shots of that obituary, blood immolation shots that we put up. So check that out, and definitely make sure that you subscribe and become a Snaggletooth minion. You guys help keep us going, get better equipment, always expanding, making better shows for you.
So we watched that documentary about John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. 20, how many bodies sealed in
27?
27 bodies that they pulled
29?
out
Would have been 29.
that were sealed in concrete. So I think it's puzzling that he's always pictured in the clown suit because he would dress up like a clown occasionally. I mean, his clowning skills were mediocre at best. If you really think about it, his signature picture, he should be holding a trowel. His concrete skills were really what he was good at. To seal 20-some bodies and have that smooth surface, I mean, I think John Wayne Gacy is not recognized for his masonry skill. So terrorists take over school. Let's start over. Okay. All right, so terrorists take over a school, right? got everybody tied up. They give their demands to the police. It's all over CNN and newspapers. There's all this negotiation. The entire country is gripped with terror, right? Finally, after several hours, the police negotiate a release of some of the hostages. The women and the children will be released. So as they're announcing this to the hostages, one of the lawyer wives' moms raises her hand and says, "Women and children? Well, Ryan identifies as a
Oh
butterfly.
my God.
Didn't we talk about this, Ryan? So to be clear, are the butterflies released?" And the others are.
There's always one.
That's the world we live in,
There's
folks.
always one.
That's the world we live in. So, I also was thinking about this the other day. Have you ever considered what would happen if we had a road cone shortage? You know, like randomly things will be short. Plywood is in short supply. This is in short supply. That's after the pandemic.
Contacts have been difficult to get.
Yeah, you never know what's going to be in
Supply
short
chain
supply.
issues.
Well, if we had a road cone shortage, it would be devastating. People could use whatever lane they wanted. You could park wherever you wanted. I mean, this would be horrible. How would we survive? You know, what a travesty.
We even have people around here who cone off their driveways, and I'm still not sure why.
But instead of repairing it, you just half-ass throw a road cone in front of
No,
it.
there are people who have cones in front of their driveways, just like I guess they don't want you to drive in them, turn around in them. I don't know. I once driving, I was going to a Flyers game with my son. I rode over a cone accidentally. It got wedged under my
Ooh. Did you get it out?
Craig had to get it out. Yeah.
I bet that's
He
hard
would
to get out.
pull it, and it was like great.
Yeah. So what was your least favorite college class?
Botany.
How come?
I took it because you had to take a certain amount of science credits, and I found out if you took biology, you had to dissect a cat or a baby pig, and I did not want to do either of those things. So I took botany.
Did you have to dissect a flower?
Yeah, well, we did do that, but this was taught by a nun that I believe was originally on Golgotha.
Oh,
Yeah, she was so old and shriveled and bent over. And I remember one lecture she was talking about proteins. And it took me halfway through the lecture to realize that's how she said proteins.
Yeah, we had a nun, Sister Bernadette, when I was in 8th grade. She was so old, I asked her if she was still in touch with Mary Magdalene. Yeah. How is Mary? All right, so my class I hated the most was sociology. I just couldn't get into it. All the studies of tribes and, you know, gotta eat the local food, eat the worms and all that stuff. I just thought it was so boring. But I do remember some things from it. I think I would like it now. Certain tribes didn't believe in the concept of aunts and uncles. They just didn't have such a thing. It's kind of interesting, you know.
They were aunt and uncle deniers, or just refused.
Just wasn't part of their family structure.
You know, they're just like, well,
and then I'm sure there are some tribes I've heard that would, when their elders got to a certain point where they couldn't hunt or contribute, they would just put them on a raft and send them out to sea. Like, good luck, grandpa, type thing. See, that's interesting. You know?
I always hate the cousin thing. I can never figure out once you get past your first cousin, second cousin twice removed. I'm like, yeah, they're an obscure relation. It's easier to say. Do the math.
I wonder if there's some tribes that require that you must charcoal grill at a family reunion. No propane, you know. Or what if there's a tribe that doesn't believe in ambrosia or falling asleep after Thanksgiving dinner? You know, I mean, greeting your kissing cousin by running into them and smacking them with peanut butter. I mean,
well, it's all about, you know,
there's a lot of tribes out there.
Different greetings. You know, it's different. You know, some cultures feel like, you know, they want to kiss you on both cheeks and you're a little overwhelmed. And sometimes it's barely a handshake.
Grass skirts. Okay. I wonder if there are tribes that wear the grass skirts and they have different ones for different occasions. Normally, I would just wear a Kentucky bluegrass skirt, but this was a wedding, so I dusted off my perennial ryegrass mini. Oh, look, she went with the Diachondrus packet, you know.
Maybe there's AstroTurf ones as well for those, you know.
Better still.
Are allergic to grass.
Do you think those tribes have grass skirt envy? Do you think they're going, wow, that's gorgeous. Are you using Scott's Turf Builder? Or is it maybe Pennington One Step? It's happening, folks.
They're probably cheating with one of those lawn services.
Grass skirt envy. lawn service could be. That's just way off the cuff. Dirty pool. All right, it's time for some Hatesphere. Let's play Cutthroat. Okay, let's talk about Coffee AM.
Our sponsor this week is Coffee AM. I can tell you that we order from them, but almost, I want to say 98% of our coffee consumption comes from Coffee AM. They are out of Georgia.
This is a good time for me to get coffee. Excuse me. Go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves.
They make great coffee. They offer to you in a variety of ways. They have micro trade coffee. They have fair trade coffee. They have flavored coffee. They have blended coffee. Pretty much any kind of coffee you would want to get, even decaf. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you want decaf, they have it. Everything that they have on their website, you get to pick decaf regular. If you want French press, drip grind, whole bean, if you like to grind your own.
We like to brew our own.
We like to brew our own. I don't necessarily like to grind my own. I went through a phase of life where I always wanted to grind it. But it will come to you. They're also a rewards type program. So once you've made so many purchases, you get money off your next order. So it pays to keep ordering with them and enjoying their delicious coffee. They also have teas as well and gift sets around Christmas. So get over to Coffee AM, use our link. It will save you $20 off your first order.
You go through their website, they list out all the different types of countries that they import the coffee from, the Himalayas, from Colombia, from Brazil.
Hawaii.
I like that they have interplanetary coffees imported from Saturn, the rings of Jupiter. I mean, this is a company that's got some fabulous resources. I'm very impressed. So, but that was mine.
Just borrowing it.
She's having some of my
I'm
coffee.
borrowing it. I had coffee envy.
Mercury. From the moons of Mercury. Absolutely. So, okay. I think it's time for Wax of Contrition. Yes. Okay. So this one, this album we're featuring this week to start off with is The Dwarves, Blood, Guts, and Pussy. Yes. I would say that this is the height of speed punk idiocy. Okay. It's produced by Jack and Dino, so you know it sounds great. Unbelievably tight, ridiculously depraved. This album cover is just the beginning. I'm telling you. Vocalist Blag Jesus, also known as Julius Seizure.
Really?
He preaches from the pulpit of debauchery in short blasts like Gash Wagon and Fuck You Up and Get High. The whole album is over in 13 minutes. So you'll feel like your brain has been duped and date raped, actually. So allegedly, I love this. Kurt Cobain was so offended by the sexism of the cover, he left the label. That's why they ended up on Geffen, you fucking pussy. Anyway, what a tool. Anyway, if you can't get enough Misfits, Earth AD, or you think that the first couple of Ramones albums are too slow and they don't have enough vulgarity, let this one corrupt you. Anyway, the Dwarves have been around forever. Okay.
Didn't we figure out they're going to be at Hell in the
They're going to be
Harbor?
at Hell in the Harbor. We're going to see them. I don't think they ever really eclipsed this album. Maybe with The Dwarves Must Die. That's another rager, and it's got the same three. Oh, actually, it's the little dude is crucified, and they're praying to him. Of course, all naked. So, but anyway, let's play this. Oh, and I'll tell you what. Here's this. The last thing I'll say about it. The album ends with them telling you they had your mom in an orgy while Surfing Bird was playing. So that's what you're dealing with. Let's play a song. This is Motherfucker. Okay, Wax of Contrition 2. Brutal Truth. Am I holding this up right? Yes. Brutal Truth. The album is Extreme Conditions Demand Extreme Responses from 1992. So, interestingly, most of the thrash bands, when thrash started to subside, did not go more extreme. Most of them formed like prog metal bands or stoner bands or, something tamer than thrash. There were a couple that didn't. Gene Hoglan didn't. He
Mm-mm.
went on to make some great death metal. He took it more extreme. And same thing with Danny Liker. Danny Liker, when Nuclear Assault put out that Lukewarm Out of Order album, he wasted no time. He bowed out and he called together an entirely new band of New Yorkers. And by the time this full length dropped, this album, their sound was just honed to a lethal edge. This is my favorite grindcore album ever. Maybe Repulsion. Maybe the Repulsion album beats it. I'm not sure. But they're right neck and neck. It's a grind powerhouse, stockpiled with crushing riffs, spectacular drumming, and Kevin Sharp's apeshit vocal attack. It's crazy.
I would also like to add, I found out that they are actually in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Interesting.
They were inducted in 2001 for having the world's shortest music video for Collateral Damage.
How long is it?
It is 2.18 seconds.
All right, there we go. I wonder
And
what the budget is for a 2.18 second
It's
video.
just, it consists of 48 still images in rapid succession, followed by an explosion, and they're out.
Yeah, again, hats off to Dan Liker. I mean, this album is a rebirth in a lot of ways. Just like Nuclear Assault's early records kind of redefined the thrash landscape. It was very edgy, apocalyptic, a little bit of punk sneer. Brutal Truth defiantly mowed down a whole new generation of degenerates looking to deafen themselves. So put on a cut like Denial of Existence. It manages to keep one foot simultaneously in hardcore and metal camps. The treads of Liker's bass line steamrolling against spectacular riffing. Drummer Scott Lewis's throttle blasts are just regulating the mayhem. So,
Is it true that he's retired? I've read several conflicting things.
I'm not sure. Oh, Kevin Sharp?
No, Liker. It said
He may be.
I
I'm not
reading
sure.
where it said he was going to retire when he was 50, but then I read something else that he said just kidding. So
He's such a journeyman. I can't imagine he's ever going to be satisfied to stop. But anyway, most of these tracks explore an anarchic, anti-capital worldview, attacking gluttony, complacency, stupidity, and waste. It's all exceptionally well done. With a sound like this, they could be singing about their pet hamster. I wouldn't care, So the pounding, the screaming, the riffing, and Walking Corpse, a song I'm going to play for you in a minute, it's still a high watermark for grindcore so many years later. So check this out. This is Walking Corpse.
all right, so we're coming down to our wonderful interview with Pepe from Hatesphere. Really enjoyed Hatred Reborn. They have a solid discography going back years, and I can tell you every album remains consistent, hard, and non-disappointing. So take it away, and you will also notice our Ginger's
Debut.
on our podcast. He decided, apparently he's a big Hatesphere
It's
fan.
rather startling. Check it out.
Cool. Excellent. What's the time at your place?
It's what, 6 here?
4.
4
Yeah,
o'clock here. 4 p.m.
It's 4, and it's been raining and miserable all day, so I fought off the crowds at Walmart. Everybody and his brother was at Walmart. I was like, good Lord.
You can relate with that weather, living out there, right?
Yeah. Where in the States are you?
We're East Coast Baltimore. So
Okay.
We're kind of right in the middle of the East Coast. We're south of New York and Philly, but we're north of DC.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I'm very familiar with Denmark. I used to work for a company called Danfoss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in Denmark on the Germany side, not the other side, not the eastern side. So
Yeah, that's where it's called Jutland, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. I live in Jutland, just further north.
Okay, great. Yeah, we
In the
used to
middle.
cross the border where Germany and Denmark met. I used to call that the gingerbread house because it looked like a cute little gingerbread house. So
Yeah.
it was not scary. They were so nice, and and
Yeah.
they would look at my Danfoss ID and let me go through. Not even my US ID. The Danfoss ID meant everything.
That was okay. That was all.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, okay. So,
Well, we've really been enjoying Hatesphere, loving. I can't. It's hard to find a band with such consistency as yours, because you figure you've been at this 23 years now, longer if you count, the years in necrosis.
Oh yeah.
You know, so what is it that keeps your sound so consistently good and heavy?
I don't know. and thank you, by the way. I don't know. I actually don't know. I mean, I just write the music that I like, and I guess it's cool. I guess it's cool music. I mean, I write music that I would think that other people would. The people or the music that I enjoy myself is. And I try to do music like that, kind of. And now at my age, I'm quite confident in what I do. So and we are. So we like to. I mean, we know our sound, so we know how to make a Hatesphere song, but we know also that we need to put in some small details and some small pieces that sound different. And that's what we kind of enjoy. And then it's also small details that makes the whole difference, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
you
you
don't
guys-
have to change from album to album. You don't have to change your sound drastically, because then you're another band, kind of, right? So
Right.
so we write what we like, and then we always put in some small details, so the whole album is gonna sound exciting in our ears.
Yeah. I like it. You guys you never tried to do like the Hatesphere industrial record or the Hatesphere bagpipes record or whatever. That's great.
Yeah, and we won't do it.
And it won't happen, right?
Were you kind of the architect of like the equal parts of like thrash and melodic and death? I think that makes it such a distinctive sound.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you could be right.
So Matthias is your fifth vocalist in 23 years. Am I counting that right?
You can be right.
But his style of kind of that hardcore barking is incredibly similar to his predecessors. Which way did it go? Did he kind of catch your attention because he had a similar style, or did he end up adapting to the band's historical sound?
I think he's just himself. So and he knows the band from before, and so he wanted to join the band and add his own sound, but also kind of pay homage to the guys and the sound that was before. So he kind of knew what he wanted to do. So something new, but still with the old vibe in it, as you can say. So he actually, we think we just let him do whatever he wanted, kind of, and it felt very natural what he did. I think it was even though he kind of, I mean, I actually think he gives the band a quite new sound, a quite new energy, quite more raw, sound. He's more, he's more raw in it, I guess, and more, I don't know, but he's something different. He's fresh. He's cool. He really fits the sound.
I was watching that video, I believe it was of Cutthroat, and he's just headbanging with all that hair. And I thought, my God, I have whacked myself in the face with my own hair in dance class. Has he ever like managed to hit himself with all that? I was like, good Lord.
Lose your bearings. Yeah.
Those are some heavy dreadlocks to be hit with. Woo!
Yeah. It's a deadly weapon, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. The rule used to always be when I was in bands, you don't change out the singer. Anything but that, right? You've done it 5 times.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the history? Why do they stay for a short time and then leave? Is it just life happens, or other bands, or what have you noticed?
Yeah, well, actually, I gotta count myself how many vocalists we've had, but I mean, in the time as Hatesphere, we've had actually he's the fourth, I guess, because during the Corona pandemic, we had this guy Michael, but he was only standing, and we actually were quite open about it before he joined. That he was standing to begin with, and then we could always see if he was gonna stay in the band or whatever. But he was actually standing, so we can count him. He's not in
Okay.
the.
Yeah. It
So
was just a placeholder, right?
It's only four. No, and actually the other guys, well, Jacob, our first singer, was in the band he was in the band for, I guess, 10 years before he left, because he was in the Crosses as well. And S has been in the band for like 9 years. Yolo was in the band for about 2 years, so he wasn't that long time. But and then our plan with Matthias is that he's gonna stay in the band forever. So
Okay.
So I don't think. I mean, it can't. I don't think it's that crazy though. They've been in the band for quite some time. So the other guys, except for Yolo, he was only in the band for 2 years. And I don't know. I mean, life happens. You get other priorities. Yeah, and I guess that's what kind of happened. And yeah, and at some point maybe. You get sick and tired of staying away, of being away too long, and getting too few money out of it. At least that's in the old days, kind of. And when we played a lot, that was why we had this big lineup change in '07, I think it was. That was actually kind of the thing that we were on the road quite often, and we didn't like get that much out of it. I mean, well, we did, but not kind of enough.
Right.
And at some point, the other guys started to get jobs and get families, and it just was too much. And then when somebody leaves, someone, maybe the other guys leaves as well. You know, it's like you never know. And yeah, but now we are old men. Now we're not old. We're strong, but wise, mature men.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be cool now.
Yeah, I think it's great how quickly you guys always bounce back with the lineup change. That's a lot of bands can't do that. That takes a lot of grit. Yeah.
So originally, when you changed from Necrosis to Hatesphere, where did the name come from?
Actually, as I recall, we thought at that time that Necrosis was kind of too death metal, like too old school death metal, and we didn't quite think it fitted our sound. So we wanted to change, and it was a good time because we just was in the process of recording our debut album. So we thought we're gonna release this album as a new band.
Okay.
At that point, that was in 2000, and as I recall, we actually heard the Hatesphere album of Meshuggah and thought that this whole sphere thing was really cool. And then we just came up with Hatesphere, like a sphere of fate. That's quite dark.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
That's a lot of anger over the years.
That was a band I couldn't think of the other day, Meshuggah.
Ah.
The Gent band. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah.
So this was your longest gap actually between albums. Do you think it was like a pandemic thing, or was there other factors?
It was a mixture, because it was surely the pandemic, but just before the pandemic hit, Esser, our old singer, left the band, and that also made us like welcoming the pandemic kind of in some point, because then we didn't have to be so active in finding a new singer because we couldn't play anyway. And so we just concentrated about other stuff. We only played very few shows, and as you know, the shows during the pandemic were kind of crappy because we couldn't play for a standing audience. People had to sit down, or we had to do some streaming shows, and it was crap. So we didn't play that much, even though we usually play quite a lot. And then we just just thought, well, we're gonna take a short break because everybody else is taking a break, kind of, and it's not cool to play shows now anyway. And then when the pandemic started to yeah, well, it was over, kind of, we knew that we're gonna do some more, and we suddenly had to find a singer, and it's actually more hard work than you should think to find the right guy.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of guys can sing and scream, but we also want a guy that can perform, and a guy that can fit our personalities. So it's quite, and Denmark is in that sense, Denmark is a small country, and we tried. We really thought about everybody, kind of, and we couldn't like find the right guy. And then Tue Madsen, who has been producing our latest 6 or something albums, actually had Matthias. He'd been recording with him. His other band I think has made 2 albums at 2, kind of, and he suggested that we should try him, and and he just really when I first talked to him, he seemed like a really cool guy, a really nice guy, really kind of mature guy who could fit our band, our personalities, and then we actually, even before we'd rehearsed with him, we already confirmed our first show with him, so that was kind of a chance to take. But I mean, we've heard what he'd done before, but we just needed to try him out in the rehearsal room, and luckily it just sounded really cool, and he was a kick-ass guy and a great performer, actually.
Oh, he is.
Great.
I've seen like a couple live things on YouTube, and
Yeah.
definitely a presence.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, congratulations. I've seen glowing reviews on Hatred Reborn. Everybody's like, they did it again. But personally, my favorite track is Spitting Teeth. It's just got those mounds of huge guitar, and then this tempo changes, and it just builds this boom. What came first when putting that song together?
What came first? Well, the start riff actually came first, and that's always a good beginning. Yeah. Now I got to think about which song is Spitting Teeth. Now I got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of albums out there, right?
Yeah. We just been playing some shows here in Denmark, and we didn't play that song live, so I just had to find it. Yeah. Well, the start riff for sure, and actually that was a riff that I've been working on for quite some time, and then just let it be, and then done some other songs because I couldn't really seem to get the rest of the song right, kind of, and I couldn't quite. So I made the other songs, and I think that it wasn't the last song actually that we finished. I think it was the second last song or something. And then suddenly, when you're in a process where you write the music, write an album, I for my sake, I always get more ideas because I'm into it. I work on it. I think about it quite often.
Yeah.
So I get some more ideas. I get more ideas than I would have had if I didn't write music. So at that time, suddenly the time was right to continue the song, and it just came to me, kind of, actually, and then it was quite quick to write the rest of the song. And I don't know, it was just crazy ideas in my head that I came up with.
How about the who came up with the idea for the Scorpions cover? That was really interesting. Another piece of meat.
Yeah, actually that was Tue. That was Tue as well.
Okay.
Because we went in the studio, and the first thing to record is the drums, and we knew that when Mike was heading home, our drummer, the opportunity was lost to do this. We needed to have some bonus tracks for the Digipack, for maybe a Japan release if that was going to be released in Japan. Oh, it's always good to have some bonus tracks ready, and we wanted to do a cover. We've done quite a lot of covers, and we always try to do some songs that are not too obvious in our style.
Right.
So not like a Slayer cover, even though you never know, we might do a Slayer cover anyway, but that's a very Hatesphere kind of band anyway, right? So we like to do some bands as well that's not in our style. And I like old hard rock stuff, and Tue like the really old hard rock stuff as well. So he came up with the Scorpions idea, and we were like, yeah, that's a cool song, we can do it. And then we just did it like really, really quick, kind of, actually, because we needed to do it before Mike had to head home.
Oh, okay.
And but it turned out really well.
It did, yeah.
It did. It fits my definition of a cover. Is it should make me like not think of the original and do something different with it. And you sure do on that one. I know when you did Bark at the Moon, it actually took me a few minutes to go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the song.
And you've done an Anthrax cover.
Yeah.
So you always bring something new to the table there, but that was definitely different. I was like, oh my God, the Scorpions.
Yeah.
It was a great idea.
Turned out good.
Cool.
Yeah.
You ever done a cover you regretted doing?
Nah. Have we? Nah. Not really.
We talked to the guy from Zentrix, and you could just tell he's so tired of doing Ghostbusters, you know.
They've done Ghostbusters.
That was there.
That's
Everywhere
a
they go,
cool
people want to
song.
hear it, you know.
Okay, yeah. I haven't heard the cover though.
He's like, yes, they still ask for it.
Yeah.
Don't ever do Ghostbusters.
He's like, we were 19. It sounded like a good idea, you know.
Yeah. Now they hate it.
So you played Wacken in 2004, going back with Exodus. This had to be the Temple of the Dam tour. This was such a big release. What was that like?
Oh, back in 2004. Actually, we played Wacken in 2005 and 7.
Wow.
So in 4 we played the, what's it called? It's called With Full Force. But that was with Crowbar. Anyway, but we played Wacken, yeah, back in the days, and toured with Exodus. And that was a cool tour because that was kind of their comeback.
Yeah, their big comeback. Yeah, I remember that. And it was I saw 2004 Exodus on that tour sheet, and I thought, wow, I bet that was some crowd. I bet, because that album is still an incredible album.
Yeah. It was a really cool tour. It's like 2 bands that really fits together. So yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
I've heard some amazing stories about the fans at Wacken. They're just, intense and camping for days and.
It's a huge festival. It's like 90,000, 100,000 people in this very small town. It's like when it's not Wacken Fest, Wacken Open Air, then it's only like 3,000 people in that little town. So it's growing in those days, in those weeks, and it's like and it's in the north of Germany, so it's not that far from Denmark actually. It's not that far from Danfoss.
Yeah. No, I have no excuse. I got to get to it. I got no excuse.
Exactly. You still work for Danfoss then?
No. I left there about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, but they were really good people. It was nice. Yeah, and they were. If you were in Denmark and you worked there, it was like you were a rock star. They like owned the country or something. I don't know.
It's a huge company.
Yeah.
Now he works for a Norwegian company.
I do. I know it's a Norwegian company. So yeah, I like working for Scandinavian companies.
Exactly. Yeah. We're nice people. Some of us.
Very nice.
Yeah, we go to Maryland Dust Fest, but it's not that, kind of camp in the field type of feel.
Yeah, they don't have big metal festivals like that in the U.S. Not metal. Okay. I mean, they have big festivals, but not Wacken size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to
And
go to
actually, Europe's got quite a few of those. Grass Pub, Hellfest,
Yeah.
yeah, and some other Resurrection Fest in Spain. We actually got quite a few.
Yeah. Fanatical.
So the lyrics are so strong on this record. That's definitely what stood out, to me. And it's all seems to be about like men's fascination with evil and
Mm.
and I always think the morbid draws people in. And I know I personally I'm a true crime show buff and I've sucked him into it. But do you have any kind of favorite evil shows or fascinations? Or I know you did a song about a serial killer, the Ice Killer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Iceman.
Iceman, Richard Kuklinski. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite, or is there an evil pleasure that you like? Is it horror movies? Is it true crime?
I actually like quite a lot of true crime. So documentaries, at least, I like to see. I don't do the lyrics though. On this album, that's only Matthias has done it. So, and I did a few lyrics back in the days, but I haven't done it for quite some time. But I really enjoy, like as you say, like yeah, true crime shows, documentaries. I guess it's for me cooler to see something that has really happened instead of made up stuff. Even though that can be really cool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whenever we watch it, I'm always just amazed at how, with the serial killers, the cops are so incompetent.
Yeah.
I'm always like, they just
Yeah.
gave up. It was 2 weeks and they moved on. I mean, and it always
No,
seems like the
it's
cops are so far behind, you know?
Uh,
All these
and
Jeffrey Dahmer things are coming out now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
all over Netflix.
It's all I'm never.
It was crazy. I could have died when that guy was trying to escape, and the cops are like, "Oh, here, let us help him take you back to his apartment." I was like, "Oh my god!"
That stuff actually happened. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the one on John Wayne Gacy, I recommend that one as well.
I think I have actually. I might have. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some really good stuff out there. Then they're always coming up with different stuff. We had this one we watched, it wasn't a series, but it was this woman, Betty Gore, and she was killed with an axe. And the woman who killed her was having an affair with her husband, and they ended up finding her innocent. And she's still free to this day.
Damn.
40 times with an axe, they said it was self-defense.
40 times.
Oh.
I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, stuff like that is crazy.
And she's somebody's neighbor. Think about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I love the artwork on the new album, and you guys always have some really consistent, badass artwork. How do you choose who does your artwork? Is it the same artist every time, or how do you go about choosing?
It's been lots of different artists. We've had a couple of guys who've been doing 2 or 3 covers, I guess. But actually, we thought about this time. We thought about that the latest cover was really yellow in the colors, right? So we actually kind of wanted to have a new cover that had like a new cover that really had like this one color that you could know it on, kind of. So we thought about, let's try to do something green, because that's like a color that we haven't used that much. And yeah. And then actually it was Matthias who knew this guy who he'd been working with before, and he wanted to try him out. And he had some cool ideas. He also had the single covers. If you go on Spotify or whatever, and hear the Cutthroat or the Hatred Reborn or the Darkspawn singles, you can see 3 different covers as well. And he had those ideas as well. Yeah, all green, all quite similar but different.
Yeah, I like the one that's like the green skeleton torso. And I noticed you guys have that one on a girly tank. I think I'm going to have to have that.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And your green vinyl. So that definitely went right with that.
Yeah.
But you've definitely done different things over the years, like Serpent Smiles and Killer Eyes. It was all those cut out face parts. So I figured it had to be like different ideas and different artists. But that's so cool. Yeah, definitely got a grade out of that. And I always check out everybody's merch. I really liked your drink beer with Hatesphere belt.
Yeah.
Where did that slogan come from?
I don't. That's an old idea. We made them first in I think 2005, and I guess at that time we were drinking a lot of beers while on tour. So it was quite. We were quite known for a party band kind of that liked to party quite a lot. So drink beer with Hatesphere seemed to fit our band quite well. So we thought, let's make a belt with that saying. We actually did a German version as well. Trink Bier mit Hatesphere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, translated. That's great.
Yeah.
Ever have a Hatesphere beer? I drink that.
Yeah.
That'd be good to have your own brew.
Yeah.
We made a beer with the last album, and we might do a new one. So
that's really awesome. I was just speaking of album art. I was thinking about my other favorite Danish thrash band is Artillery, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite Artillery album is Terror Squad, which is legendary for the terrible cover, like just terrible, right? And everything else about that album I love. But I went and I was reading up about it, and the one guy from the band was saying that Neat Records was so cheap that they delivered I don't know, you might already know this story. They delivered the recording to them, and they were like, "Where's your cover?" And the guys from Artillery were like, "What?" And they were like, "Hey, go get one." So they just had to go get a guy. It all makes sense now. I understand why the cover sucks. Because Neat Records was so cheap, it was always their reputation,
Cool.
Shame. Yeah.
And cool story.
I think the first album, they did get them art, but then the second album, they just decided to be cheap. So that really sucks when you're not making any money in thrash in 1987 anyway,
No.
And then you can't even get good artwork.
Yeah. Double credit.
Now, have you ever met those guys from or played with Artillery?
Yeah, quite a few times actually.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great band.
We've been we're doing some Danish at least one Denmark tour with them, and we always hook up when we play Copenhagen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I figured. Yeah.
So what's the Danish metal scene like today? Is it supportive? Is it competitive? A little of both?
I think it's quite supportive. I mean, I gotta be honest. I obviously I hear about a lot of new bands, but I don't necessarily know how they sound.
Right.
But I think we got quite a few successful bands now, and quite a few bands that are touring. So that's a cool thing, and are releasing albums on some quite big labels. So I guess it's a quite healthy scene.
We had Jakob from Mercenary on the show. He's a great guy. Yeah, they're good. Yeah. Really
We're gonna do some Denmark stuff with them next year as well. So
cool. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Have you been able to catch the new Merciful Fate reunion at all?
No, but they played on Copenhagen, which is this Danish metal festival, open air festival.
I hear it's really. I hear they haven't lost a step at all. Is what I hear. I haven't seen it.
Me neither, but it was quite successful over here. I know. I just didn't see it though.
Yeah. When I saw him, it was with when they had Sherry D'Angelo on bass, and he's like 9 feet tall, and King is so small. That was I'll never forget. You don't forget stuff like that. We used to always make the joke that the more Swedes would get into Fate, the worse the albums were. Like the more Danes, the better. Like the early 2-3 records are all Danes, and then
Coincidence?
yeah, like I don't know, more Swedish guys. Yeah.
You never know.
It's got to be something there,
All right. So we play a little game. It's 5 random questions, so don't worry. We used to preface this another way.
Yeah.
I have 100 questions in front of me, so I want you to pick 5 numbers between 1 and 100.
Yeah. What are the questions about?
Random things.
Random things.
Random things.
Yeah, really random.
Oh, exciting. Then number 79 then. and 60 and 99 and 13.
One more.
One more. 5.
Our cat just made an entrance.
Yeah.
Go away. All right. Number 79. If you were a type of cheese, what kind would it be?
What is that cheese called in English? That's a word. That's a. I would be an Emmentaler, I guess.
Wow.
That's a Swiss cheese.
Ah. I
Yeah,
remember they had cheese for dessert when I would go to Denmark. That's like a thing.
yeah,
Does
yeah,
that sound?
and
Yeah.
biscuits.
Yeah.
Cheese and biscuits, kind of. Yeah.
No hot fudge sundaes.
Well, they had sweets, but I just remember being cheese was on the menu. Okay, so
Oh,
we're making a.
there's a cat.
What is the thing?
4 cats, and one of them is always in the way.
Yeah.
Get.
Meow.
He never does that. That's interesting. Yeah. He must
Right,
really like
Jax is in
Hatesphere.
here.
He really likes
Yeah,
Hatesphere.
he's a big fan.
Cool.
All right, number 60. What game show would you want to be a contestant on?
I don't know that many game shows. Jeopardy?
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
That's a good one.
It's gotta be Jeopardy.
I think
Yeah.
you'd be good with the da-na-na.
Yeah.
I always get anxious for them during the final Jeopardy when they have to write it down and they play the
Mhm.
teapots on them. I'm always like, "Whoa." 99 you picked. What advice would you give your teenage self?
Oh, yeah, the advice would be don't worry. Don't worry. Things will happen. things will work out.
Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Always good to have a lot of hope. All right, number 13. How do you take your coffee?
Black.
Oh,
Black.
you're one of us. Yes.
Yeah.
What does David Letterman say? Oh, you like to monkey around with the coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the
We're
same way.
strict. We just like the coffee.
Yeah.
Number 5. What would the title of your autobiography be?
I don't know. that would be the title. Pepe, I don't know. Nah, I don't know. Steam Boy. I always been called Steam Boy because yeah, an old story. It would be called Pepe Steam Boy.
Okay.
The Steam Boy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
Old story.
How
Right.
did you originally get the nickname Pepe?
I think it comes from Pepe Le Pew.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pepe Le Pew. Yeah. That's where I think I got it from originally.
That's hysterical.
All right, so I got a bonus question for you. If you
Yeah.
could play with any lineup, whether they're still together or not, what bands would you play with in your own fantasy festival?
Where I was, I was in the band that just played with this band.
Play with them, like be on the same lineup as.
Yeah,
as
be on the same lineup.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I would have been like back in the days, and then played a festival with on our computers. Oh, there you go. with like the it's, I mean, now it's the old lineup, but like 1984 playing with Motley Crue because they were so fucked up. I think I wanted to have experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been wild.
It would,
I would-
I guess.
I
yeah.
I saw him in '85, and I remember Shout the Devil was so evil. I loved
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw them live, and I was like, these guys aren't even evil at all. Like I was so
No.
disappointed. I was like, these guys are. This is like seeing like Loverboy or something, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't live up to my expectations. I wanted evil and chains and hell, and you know what I mean. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Damn.
Luckily, Slayer came around after that, and they took care of all
Right.
that for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a step up.
Definitely,
It's
a
an
step up.
upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, what's the next for Hatesphere? Do you guys are you setting up a big tour, a European tour? Like, what's the tour plans?
The tour plan is that we're gonna do a quite big Danish tour in the fall, and then we're gonna do some European tour in early next year, and
Okay,
do a Danish tour again next year. So we're gonna play quite a lot in Denmark, and then do some European stuff. But that's gonna be early next year, and
That's
then yeah.
So, how many guitars do you actually have? Or can you lose count?
I can see one right now, and an acoustic one. Wow, I got 2 acoustic, and then I got can't remember 7, I think.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's not that
No,
bad. Not for a
maybe.
lifetime of playing music. No.
No, yeah, I've had more though. I actually think I got more than 7. Yeah, 8, 9, kind of.
That's great.
Yeah, I like the acoustic opener to this one.
Yeah, and that's actually the thing about when we write music as well. I like the more old school metal albums where you had this, for example, an acoustic intro, because it like it stirs up the atmosphere, and I like that atmospherical stuff. So I mean, we've done something not like totally acoustic before, like an intro, but almost, and then I just thought that would be a cool thing to have this like really old school acoustical intro, because I myself really love it as well.
Yeah.
Like albums who starts like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I kind of wrote it.
Every time I'm at someone's house and I see they have a 12 string, I want to
Oh.
play the intro to Fight Fire with Fire. But
Uh,
that's 2 guitars. I would just be able to play the jangly part. You know, you need 2. So I don't think I could do that. But, yeah.
hmm.
Yeah. They don't even do it. Like they pipe that in when they play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty
Exactly.
complex intro. Yeah.
So, any chances of you guys doing a US tour?
I hope so. I really hope so. I
That'd be
think
great.
we've got a quite cool booking agency, and I guess they could. If somebody could make it, it should be them. So I hope to be back. I really hope. Yeah,
You would love that. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah, we would be there.
we were quite close on playing the cruise, the 70,000 tons of metal cruise this year. Actually, we should have played, but we just we had like a week to. They asked us, and the cruise were like a week away. I was too close, but hopefully next year.
Well,
But I
maybe
don't know.
next year if they do, we're going to Hell in the Harbor. You have to look up this lineup. It's going to be Memorial Day weekend in Baltimore. It's crazy. So maybe you guys could do that next year. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would
It's
love
new.
to come back soon.
Yeah, it's a new festival.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
I'm just giving your
Ooh.
booking agent ideas.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Well, cool. Well, this was
Yeah.
great. Thanks for taking
Yeah.
the time. We're
Thank
going to
you.
continue to headbang to Hatred Reborn.
Cool. Glad you like it.
The sounds of decay!
Okay. Sounds of Decay 1 from Brisbane, Australia. The band is Ne Obliviscaris, which is Latin for never forget. Now, sadly, I've completely slept on this 5-piece band. They've been around for 20 years.
Wow.
They've dropped 3 full-length records, not counting this one. I suck. I realize this, but at any rate, the jewelness of this band and recording is that they find a way to highlight each player's individual virtuosity without ever sounding too mathy and overbearing. It's like the songs are structured so that you're like, wow, listen to that bass line. Wow, listen to those violins. Check out the drummer. They never step on each other's toes, which is difficult to do. It's difficult to do that, to impress without sounding like you're overdoing it, because then you get into where you're playing some kind of out jazz or something, you know. I mean, whether it's Tim Charles's dramatic violin and viola solos, the bass player is incredible. His name is Martino Garatori. He is Italian. Yeah. They show off extraordinary chops, and he's got a heavenly tone. And the drummer, Dan Presslin, he steadily steers the mood, building crescendos, letting them fall, building crescendos, letting them fall. It actually reminds me of the Mahavishnus. Yes, I'm old. But Ni Obliviscaris, they pull it off with with surprising finesse, just put it that way.
Maybe we took so long to realize that because they're from Melbourne, so it took that long to get over here. Oh, I don't know.
If you go any further, you'll be coming back.
These are not short songs.
No.
In fact, 5 of the cuts eclipse the 7-minute mark. So we're coming up on Alan Averill levels.
Yeah, make sure you're sitting comfortably before you start this one. Yeah.
Pick a cut like Growl. The juxtaposition of those grizzled growls from Mark Campbell, Zen,
Right. They call him Zen on the album.
and Tim Charles' operatic grandeur mesh like few bands I have ever heard.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of death metal growling over violin. That's something you don't
Hard to
normally
find.
get. Yeah.
It's a good blendy blend, and I love me a blendy blend.
I like the transition from the violin solo to the guitar solo in Misery Chord 1. I think it's pure genius. That's a track that goes through several changes in mood, from kind of a chuggy crunch to classical style violin and bass, and then back to blast beats and beyond. I mean, the 12-minute opener may be the disc's finest moment. I think we're going to play that one for you. Particularly if you listen to the tension between Zen's vocal rumbling and Tim's violin. Again, it's a very unique sound. It shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah.
So if you're into stuff like Wilderun or Opeth, this will be right up your alley. So let's play a song. This is called Equus.
All right, we're up to Sounds of Decay 2. This is Spirit Possession of the Sign. This is another quality dark metal outfit from Portland. Shocking.
Yep.
The hotbed of quality
Creativity.
dark metal.
Yeah.
It arises in the form of Spirit Possession. This is a duo comprised of journeyman instrumentalist Steve Peacock, formerly of Mastery and Pale Chalice, and drummer Ashley Spungen. Although I did think it was kind of wild on Metal Archives, they're only listed as S and A.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you go to look at their picture, you can't see their faces. Their hair is all in front of their faces, like Cousin It. I'm like, are we
She's a
going for some kind of anonymity?
Female drummer, Ashley Spungen.
Yeah.
And she was in a band called Kristen Mistress that I really liked. Yeah, back in the day.
Of the Sign is the band's third record since forming in 2019. And it's an unapologetic homage to Fenrir's Tom Warrior, steeped in violent, hard crashing riffs, cavernous thumping blast beats, and reverb-soaked vocal rasps are just the way our heroes of old used to deliver them.
Yeah, this is not, there's not a trace of avant metal to be found here. This is orthodox black. No French horns, no children's choirs, just 6 rather long riff-heavy cuts, 3 instrumentals that swirl in some organ, some clean guitar, some ambient moments that all seem to drive this cold, grim mood of the record. Listen to this. I found it hard to believe that it wasn't made in Europe or South America. Cuts like Practitioners of Power, alternating sprint pace with slow chugging. Peacock is very good at dropping more than his fair share of Celtic Frost. And the echo. Yeah. Lots of Celtic Frost. A lot of great riffs on the album. It's hard to pick a winner, but the opener, Orthodox Weapons, may get the nudge for just a fantastic breakdown kind of in the middle of the song. Guaranteed to get main shaking, candles burning, incantations verbalized, livestock slaughtered. Perfect gift for the orthodox black metal fan. On your list, Ravishing Lumber. Let's play orthodox weapons.
I still don't know what they look like.
I think they look like these girls. Okay. Sounds of Decay 3, Lost Harvest, Deluded Seas of Diverge is the name of the album.
Eluded Seas.
Diverge.
Mm.
Yeah. So I always think it's a treat when we get something from an unexpected place. Like this is a epic quality death metal that's not from the Northwest and it's not from Scandinavia. It's not from Florida. This band is Lost Harvest, and they're another duo, but they're from the border town of Matamoros, Mexico, which is right across from Brownsville, Texas. They came together all the way back in 1994, broke up in 97, and then they returned several years ago to lay down their debut album, Capitulum, and now the latest splendidly titled offering, Deluded Seas of Diverge.
The disc packs nearly 74 minutes of uber guttural vocal croaks, lengthy, epic songs. Epic songs run through it in this episode.
Yeah.
Majestic guitar fills, dissident twin leads, and lots of nylon string instrumental accompaniment. 9 songs eclipse the 6-minute mark, winding thornily through brutal speed outbursts, wounded doomy crawls, and everything in between.
Yeah, the guitarist Hector Angora is listed here as endosteum.
Sounds like an endoscopy.
He proves to be quite the talent. He arranges the flamenco style guitar into the mix, and it's not just intros. He lays it as the top layer over top of the brutal riffing and the speed. So it adds a touch of sophistication. Again, that shouldn't work either, but it does. Like, you don't listen to a death metal and say, this would sound good with flamenco guitar over it. He does. I love the guitar harmonies in the title track. They show an amazing acumen for arrangement, especially for only a second album. The twists in Wisdom, Sands of Everlasting Realms, and again, long titles, High Dagon, are very much in the same vein as veteran fare like Blood Incantation or The Chasm. I'm still absorbing the record, but the track I keep coming back to that I'm going to share with you now is the 10-minute closer called My Tideless Seas. I like the interplay between the drummer. His name is also Hector. I guess 2 Hectors do make a right. And the melodicism is absolutely thrilling. This is a must-hear for death metal fans that have an ear for subtle genius. Like if you like that Argentum stuff we talked about last week, this will be right up your alley. So let's hear My Tideless Seas.
More nautical references.
No, this was definitely the epic episode. Season 2 is in the books. How do you like that?
I got
wow.
More notes for our note door.
For our fire pit. Yeah. Wow, what a show. Well, besides reminiscing on the entire season, we talked about why it might not be the best to be best friends with a mechanic. Right?
We did.
We talked about are butterflies being released? Just to be clear. We talked about why gas station nachos don't sound very appealing.
Gas station anything.
Yeah.
It's like
Gas station gas is just about it. Yeah.
gas station presents.
You want to make something sound cheap. Throw the word gas station in front of it. I got you salad. It's a gas station salad. Oh, I don't want it. I remember I was traveling a lot. I might have brought this up on the show before, but I remember I was pissed because I was sick of eating greasy food traveling. I was going to get a salad. I think I was at O'Hare Airport, and I was like, I'm getting a salad. I don't care what it costs. And I paid $18 for a salad. It was like a little house salad. And I was like, I'll be happy to pay this. My company is willing to pay this because, of course, I charge them back for it. I just remember thinking the airport thinks that's what you charge for salad. $18? Yeah, okay. It's got five pieces of lettuce and a carrot. Okay. This is the part where I get scared, folks. She says she's ready. This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Pepe from Hatesphere for the great interview. Snaggletooth theme, courtesy of Gustav Jord from Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme, courtesy of Steve Rathbone from the band Lair of the Minotaur. Decay bands, check them out. Brandy new stuff, Lost Harvest, Ni Obliviscaris, and Spirit Possession. All Content 2023, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
Obituary heels, bitches!
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.